Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tabletop Hour. Larry Bella here. I'm Abe. We got Abe. It is episode 6.
Oh.
This is the weekly 1-hour talk show. What's going on in tabletop news? What's going on BoLS? Talking about the 3 big items of the week and just whatever else is going on in the industry. Really quick, we just wanted to go over this last weekend. We got in the car, all the BoLS crew, well, part of the BoLS crew, some
people weren't invited.
Some people weren't invited. And we went to Warhammer, Warhammer Weekend. There we go. Well, I was like, blah, 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 blah.
I would tell you what it was, but I wasn't invited, so I don't know about
up in Dallas, which is the first kind of organized play event put on by Games Workshop in
this edition at least.
In North America. Well, in North America in years.
Yeah, in years.
They have not. Games Workshop has not, in North America been part of having organized play at all for years since Art Boys went away years ago. So they're back, and we went there and we got to check out. We had great interviews with all of them. We got full tours of all the different things. So all of that is going to be coming up. It's all being put together. Look for that on BoLS probably tomorrow.
You know, it makes sense, actually, because I played in the last Art Boys, right?
Yes.
And then I kind of stopped playing for a little while. And that's when the tournaments went away.
Yes.
And now I'm back in. Now the tournaments are coming back.
So you're the tournament bringer?
I'm the tournament bringer. I don't bring the raid. I bring the tournaments.
You bring the tournaments?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Clearly.
That's your. That's a really sad superpower. It's like the crap when you roll up your character in Champions and you're like, you bring tabletop wargaming tournaments. Plus 5 karma.
Hey, you know what? I think it's fun. But that all kind of came out of... so they're opening up the new Warhammer Citadel Cafe.
Correct.
Right?
And we don't have an exact
Dallas.
date of when that is actually going to open. So something happened with that. And then while they're waiting for that to open, they just took what would have been the big opening and they put it in the Doubletree Hotel, which is kind of really close to GW North America's
and if you're not in North America,
offices.
Doubletrees are, at least in Texas, Doubletrees are traditional locations for
this is true
40K events.
This is
right?
true. It's just it's weird. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Doubletrees hotels and wargaming.
Yeah.
So we were there. We had a great time, and look for post and coverage and a video of Warhammer Weekend. That'll be on BoLS, like I said, this week, probably tomorrow.
And I think it's really cool that they did that too, because to kind of because the opening was delayed.
And it was a blast.
Yeah.
It was the narrative tables were gorgeous. They're beautiful. They had organized play going up, and they had like 3 weeks to pull this whole thing together.
Right, yeah.
They had to build it, and the event organizers who we talked to, who were just fantastic, and we had a great time with them. They were they were just like, yeah, a lot of work.
But it heralds good things coming from when the Citadel's fully open.
Absolutely.
And everything's going. So that's really cool. What else has been going on?
We got Song of Ice and Fire in the house. Someone's a little excited about it. Something weird is going on. Can you tell someone is super excited about Song of Ice? That is the big new box game from Sigmar.
We'll be cracking into this soon, guys.
You look for lots of Song and Ice and Fire coverage coming soon from us. We're going to be having unboxings. We're going to have rules tutorials. We're going to be going over the minis. All kinds of stuff is coming. We're really excited about it. So that is imminent.
Yeah, this is Starks and Lannisters right now, but I can't wait. I need my Baratheons.
Who do you want to play?
I need Stannis the Manus. That's what I need. I got to get him out here and bring the fury.
One of the BoLS alum, all the people who have written for BoLS over the years at various times. My personal favorite avatar name was we used to have one of our writers called Barbecue with Stannis. That is the best.
That is good. I'm really into the Song of Ice and Fire books and the stuff and everything. I mean, to the point like I looked at a piece of artwork at one point when I was actually at FFG headquarters, and it was this big picture of the Red Keep and the Battle of King's Landing. If you've seen the show, it's in the 2nd season.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I go, that's wrong. There's no gate there, according to the actual.
Terrible.
I was like, I pulled the maps.
That's a bunch of
like, there's no gate where that picture shows there's a gate. Everything is wrong with this.
Continuity. He sent us text about it.
I did, and then I realized that I was going too far.
Continuity errors.
Continuity errors. Yeah, it's like this isn't right at all.
I want House I am House Martell.
Martell,
because
right.
we are.
Yeah. You want the most boring plot line that never goes anywhere.
Hey, we are a swarthy people. of the hot lowlands.
Of the hot lowlands. There you go.
It's more. Is
it the valley,
or is it
Dorne? No one knows.
Is it Dorne? Is it McAllen, Texas?
Yeah.
It's all the same thing.
All the same thing. But we'll be digging into that definitely for more coverage.
Yeah.
As
so
that develops.
keep your eyes out for both those things. Those are kind of the what's going on coming soon, and definitely we want you guys to tune in every week and enjoy the show because we will be giving you more stuff like that. We want you guys to know, everyone who watches, not only what is everything is going on right now and what is big in the last week, but we want to keep you guys will get the first little nods of what's coming up in the next week for us. Uh-oh.
We have a quick question before we really start to dig into Knights.
We have a question. What do we got?
The armor kit comes with 2 figs, not just 1, correct?
Dose.
All right.
They're 2 and they're identical.
Yes.
And then there are 2 different box sets, so you either buy the Helverines or the Warglaves.
No, that's how they pronounce it. I guess Low Gothic has a long E.
That's how we pronounce it in America.
In America.
In America. Helverines.
All right. So, Knights. Speaking of that.
So let's get right into it. Just this last Saturday, Codex Imperial Knights. It has hit the shelves. It is in everyone's exciting hands. We've had it for a week or 2. You've watched a lot of our coverage. BoLS has been talking about it a whole lot. Well, we've gotten in some of our early test games with it. Had a fantastic. You can right now go back and look at yesterday's articles on BoLS, and we have a full video battle report of a crazy Freeblade joust we did, and it was so much fun. But it did let us see a lot of these things on the tabletop in action against each other. So we've gotten to try out all of the different new units, and boy,
what do you think?
Harpoons.
If you want to know about harpoons, I highly recommend the Nantucket Whaling Museum in Nantucket Island.
Gosh.
It is one of the best museums you can go to ever, and it has a large collection of authentic antique harpoons.
And Scrimshaw.
It has, I think, the largest collection in at least North America, if not the world.
So for all of you
Scrimshaw
Imperial Fist players, who, if you are a real Imperial Fist player, you'll know why that is. You'll know why I said that.
But speaking of larger knight-mounted harpoons.
Yes. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. The fear and loathing caused by a weapon that can do 13 points of damage to you is tremendous. It's not just that it's capable of doing the damage, just the fact that it can do the damage. It makes people treat the Dominus class just very, very differently.
And the fact
is, the Valiants.
If you don't have an invulnerable save and you're a vehicle, it's probably going to do 11 to that damage to you.
And you're dead.
Yeah.
Like it is a weapon that fundamentally changes some of the meta, because up until a weapon like this emerges into the game, there's always the innate durability and protection of APCs and models that have approximately 10 to 12 wounds, which is most vehicles. So most vehicles in the game don't have an invulnerable save, but they have a decent toughness. They have, most vehicles in the game have toughnesses in the 7 to 8 range.
Right.
And they have 10 to 12 wounds, and those things traditionally, for this first year of Warhammer 8th edition, they're just great because they're boat anchors. You just, they're cost, why do people take rhinos? You take rhinos because you just put them in front of your army, and you're like, you just have to waste time dealing with them, and you have to waste time dealing with Eldar transports and Chaos transports and Imperial Guard transports. But it's really shocking to have something in the game that can just say, I hit you on a 3-up with a reroll, and if I hit you, I wound you on a 2, and if I wound you, just take the model off. Yeah. You're just dead. That's crazy.
And with command point reroll, probably gonna
wound you. Probably you're just dead. And can do that every turn. Just like this turn, pop. If I have some stratagem or something that lets me fire again, pop. And it just can wreck arm. I mean, there's a lot of vehicles that are expensive. That will run in the high 200s, maybe even low 300s if you put all the bells and whistles on them. That this thing can just take it off the table. Yeah. And it's really...
And that's just one of its weapons, too, right? It also has the best anti-aircraft gun in the game.
Yes. If you've seen King Kong movies, so don't put flyers anywhere near this thing, because that flamethrower is going to just ruin your day. Yeah. Which is great. So that's the other great equalizer. I mean, Valiants are really impressive. The top weapons, the
Siegebreaker.
The Siegebreaker cannons are very good weapons. They're a really good general purpose weapon. It's just a lot of dice. It's just a lot of dice. The missiles are neat. They get the zing off. And they have a pretty good.
I'd probably take it with 2 shield.
Correct.
Siege breakers instead of the shield breaker.
Yeah, I would agree. In almost every case that you can think of, the only reason where on some occasions you're going to see it with this build, where you'll have the double missiles and the 1 shield breaker, is there's slight variations based off points. It's like you can do if you're really trying to shoehorn a list and you got to swap.
It's slightly.
You might do that, but that's about it.
There is a stratagem that lets you target characters with the shield breaker missiles. So if you really wanted to go sniping for like 4 turns. You could do that, and I mean, like, this is a really cool model. Let's not forget.
And let's not forget the 4 melta guns.
Yeah, 4 melta guns.
Right, because 4 melta guns, plenty deadly there.
Can also kill a vehicle.
Right.
And it's not a very long range. A lot of its guns, but it's moved 10 or 12 itself, right?
Sure.
And with 10. With the right house, it can advance with no problem. So all of a sudden, you're going from a 12-inch to a 25-inch threat range.
The Valiant is a unit that is perfectly capable of in a single turn. I mean, not with luck, reliably. It can reliably get rid of an entire squad of infantry, like a 10-man squad of infantry, and 2 intact vehicles.
Yeah, definitely.
Just pull them off the table per turn. And that's tremendous. There's been things in the game, Primarchs and things that can be like, your one thing is just dead, and I don't care what it is, right? If you have a knight, you can do that too. But it's interesting to see a vehicle that can just be like, I'm just going to take a big chunk out of your army, and the next turn, if you don't stop me, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again. So, I mean, they have to be dealt with.
Yeah. The Castellan is also good at it. I mean, I think this is definitely my favorite.
Absolutely.
I like it a lot better than the Castellan, but the Castellan is not bad, especially if you give it the special relic plasma cannon.
Yes.
It makes
Wrath.
Call's Wrath.
Which makes it way better.
At that point,
it's like a 50% damage output increase from the plasma, because it goes from damage 1 to 2 to 2 to 3.
2 to 3, plus all the strength goes up by 1, so you're wounding most vehicles now instead of wounding most vehicles on a 4 or 5 when doing 1 point of damage, you're wounding most vehicles on a 3.
So that is our pro tip. Our pro tip is, if you like the Castellan and you want to hang back and just blow things away, you're gonna get a relic anyway. Take Call's Wrath. Just take Call's Wrath and put it on it, and you're Valiant. I mean, that's on a Valiant that's already costing close to 600. Call's Wrath is probably easily worth like 75 to 100 points.
Well, it's free.
Sure. If it had a cost.
If it had a cost, definitely.
Right. Yeah. It is a major force multiplier for the unit.
Now, the thing I really like about this guy is some of the strategies you can use with him.
Sure.
Because I love the one strategy, when you die, you get to shoot, right? And you do count as being at your bottom tier, so normally you're hitting on 5s.
Sure.
So I love using it with this guy. It's such a great idea because he's got the flamer, which automatically
So who cares?
Yep. So like, I'm going to die, I'm going to flame you and hit automatically. And if my harpoon manages to hit, that's great. And then, of course, you've got the come back from the dead stratagem, so you can do that, shoot, and then not be dead.
I mean, this is a terrible, terrible thing, even for a knight, to try to charge.
Oh, yes.
A Valiant is just no good. There's no
it's
good.
Not like it's bad in combat either,
well,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you charge it, it's going to set you on fire. The flamer's going to go off. All those things are going to hit automatically, so you're just going to have to endure that. Then it's going to, it just has a lot of extra shots. It's got the, you're gonna take some. It's rolling so many dice off the mega flamer that it's gonna do something to you.
Well, even if you're saying, I'm gonna throw a rhino at you to try to tie you up so I can charge with the rest, right? It's not unlikely that the rhino could be killed.
Oh, sure.
I mean, the flamer alone, plus everything else.
Then you got the 4 meltas. Right. You have a decent chance of actually connecting with one of them because you're rolling 4 of them.
Between 4 meltas and a harpoon rerolling to hit,
sure.
On average, one of those things is going to hit.
And then that's the big thing. Is that you're just playing. You're praying that the harpoon hits on an Overwatch, which in our test game it did. And you can go back and watch that, and it was fantastic because it's the same thing. It's blind luck. But if you have a reroll, the cost benefit is so high. It is almost worth throwing a reroll if you have one on an over. Like normally you would never waste it. But if you have a harpoon. That's a different math, because if
right.
that thing connects, you can just stop a charge dead in its tracks.
Definitely. And I mean, the flamer's got an 18-inch range on it, so you can hide out of line of sight, but that's pretty hard to get out of line of sight of this big thing.
Yep.
And you can't hide out of range. You can't charge from outside of 18 inches. So
really, really quick, let's talk about the Helverine.
Yeah, the other big new one.
Also, Rockstar. This thing, total opposite of that. Incredibly cost effective. About I think I want to say 170, either 174 or 184. This is probably how you're going to build it. You're going to build it with its 2 default autocannons and then the heavy stubber on top, just to keep it cheap. So you can have 2 of these. A pair of these will be like 380 roughly. Fantastic deal.
Let me ask you a question, Larry. If you're a Space Marine player,
yeah, you hate this thing.
Would you ever take a Predator again?
No. Absolutely.
Or would you just take an attachment with?
I think if you are a Night World, you are getting non-stop. You're getting non-stop requests for your Helverines.
I have all these Predators. I'll trade you like 3 Predators for a Helverine. Like
yes, these things are in our test game. As an example, we had a pair of these, and on turn 1, one of them put 12 wounds on a knight, and the other one put 9 wounds on a knight. Just bang. I mean, each one of these guys is putting out 4d3 shots. Hitting on 3s, they can move and fire with no penalty. They're wounding in general on most things. It's strength 7. I mean, it's a good solid.
Each arm gun is a Predator autocannon.
Right, and then the big thing, is the flat 3 damage, which is what people don't expect, because every time they failed it, it's like boom, take 3, and those hits. You know, this guy's putting out 43 shots. If you're putting it all on the same target, that's a lot. You know, these things are routinely getting 8 to 9 hits on average.
This thing is actually, interesting enough, this is going to be a really interesting counter to Custodes lists.
Also, because they can move and fire with no penalty, they move 14. So these guys are super fast. You know, they're able to, they're running around cover. They're advancing quickly. When the enemy gets close, they're moving way back fast. And the gun with a 60-inch range means that these guys are just they have range on you. You routinely won't have range on them.
Other than using like your Veritas Predators, I don't know how a Custodes list deals with these guys if they can't get the charge off.
I mean,
because they're going to stay out of range, and every shot's that splits through your armor is going to
kills a guy.
Kills a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy
with the 3 wounds.
Yeah,
you got to hope that you got to hope that you're not that you're rolling that your saves are good.
Yeah,
and that you don't roll a bunch of 1s and 2s.
Oh yeah, but, dropping you down with that many shots, dropping you down to a 3-up save.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
you're going to roll 1s and 2s.
This thing only has to kill like three guys to make its points back.
Right, that's the thing. Yeah, it takes very few. This thing out, and that's 1. If you're running 2 of these things or a squad of 3 of these things, it's going to be fantastic. So this codex is a winner. Oh, we have a question. What do we got?
Before you guys wrap up,
sure, absolutely.
Forward, what sort of melee capabilities does the Helverine have? Just straight from the stat line.
Not much.
Checking it,
but yeah,
checking that for you guys.
Let me see. Still got some more kits I think coming out too at some point, right? We don't have we haven't got to play with the new Preceptor model.
Correct, because
that's not out
both of them have 4 attacks base. And
at
they're
strength 6.
At strength 6, and they're hitting on 3s by default. So pretty decent. Basically, if you think you're going to be getting into assault, you take the Warglaives.
Yeah, Warglaives are going to assault. But if these guys get charged, they can still surprisingly put out some damage, right?
Yeah, and then and then the next turn, just run. Because you can run 14 and hope that you can get some other unit in there to just jam them up.
All right.
So that is the Imperial Knights part of today's episode. Moving on. Oh, we have Adam, Harry, and JR in the house. What's going on? We feel surrounded. What are you guys going to talk about?
We are here today to talk about some new game that's coming out. Age of Sigmar?
Soul Wars.
Simon.
Age of Sigmar 2.0. We'll take these out of here.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Hold on.
It's the end times. We have to blow up the world so that we can talk about it.
No, but come back.
Oh,
I wanted
we don't get cool.
I wanted a Helverine.
Helverines!
Red Dawn!
Red Dawn. It's true.
That's what we're here today to
Yeah.
talk about.
Hey everyone, I'm Adam
that
Harry.
guy you can play.
Okay. Yes.
There's some Age of Sigmar stuff for you.
We'll be back.
I'm Adam Harry. This is JR.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm JR.
We're here to talk about some Age of Sigmar goodies.
They are exciting. We have Soul Wars coming out, and that introduces Age of Sigmar 2nd Edition.
Yes, it's pretty exciting stuff. I gotta say too, just in terms of build up and in terms of like everything coming out for the game, it feels like it's gonna be pretty like not disruptive. Like,
yeah, it's super smooth sailing. So
Yeah.
like one of the things that I've been noticing is like all of the rules are getting updated and tweaked and stuff, but it's not like you have to buy a whole new set of battle tomes kind of book edition or anything like that. Like, you just get these updated rules, you layer them on, you change the engine of the game.
Yeah.
And like there will be new points and stuff, but those will be in the General's Handbook, which we'll talk about.
I feel like the core gameplay mechanics are getting added onto, which is great because it was a pretty bare bones system to begin with. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
But like we've seen the new magic stuff like that with the endless spells. That looks really interesting. We know they're getting a crap load of stuff to customize your army in terms of like items and spells and where you battle matters now. Realm battles. Rules of the realm.
There's a whole host of new lore updates and things as well.
And as far as we can tell, all of the big major products, so the core box, Malign Sorcery, and the new General's Handbook, all that stuff's dropping for pre-order
right about the same time,
June 16th. As far as we can tell, I do think that they are planning on doing the core book, the 320-page hardback, at a later date by itself. But day one, it's all coming out. Bless you. As far as we can tell,
excuse me.
As far as we can tell, everything's coming out June 16th. Yeah, pre-orders go up, and then boom, go from there. So that's pretty exciting. Like I said, it should be a very smooth transition.
And it's an exciting transition too, because one of the big things that they introduce in this edition is the endless spells. We were talking about that. Let's talk about the Malign Sorcery kit for a little bit.
So just to back up real fast too, price wise, the Malign Sorcery kit is $85 for that. The core box set is $160, and the General's Handbook's $35. And so from what we can tell in the posts that they've put out for Malign Sorcery, you're getting all 11, I believe, of the endless spell models.
I think it's 13.
Might be 13 models or endless spells with models is what I'm saying.
Right.
So you're getting all that, plus there's like a rules supplement in that box that's probably a softback with all the rules. The big thing I'm really excited about for that is the 84 magical items you're going to be getting in that box set.
I am excited about the whole like new magic of the realm. So like each realm, each of the mortal realms gets its own like
basically like
spell
a lore
list.
Yeah, like 6 spells per realm. It's like the classic Warhammer Fantasy had the Winds of Magic chart, and each school of magic had their special spells.
Well, now you get a light domain or spell list thing. You get a death one. You get a fire.
Shadow,
you get a shadow life.
Yeah, so you're getting all that back, plus themed magic items to go along with all the realms.
Plus,
it's a lot of stuff.
The endless spells themselves, which are amazing. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but these things are radical. Now they're interesting because once you cast them, like anyone can use them. Yeah, they just get a life of their own.
Yeah, once you cast them, depending on the spell, open for use or open for damage. So if for some reason you cast like the Purple Sun in your own path and you get hit by it, it's your own fault. But the Purple Sun's out there, so
Purple Sun's out there. It's gonna do stuff.
Yeah,
that
kind of cool.
Huge. I don't know if you've seen any of
the comparative shots of it. Yeah, it's gonna be a big, cool model. Lots of fun stuff there too.
Talking about the endless spells, that kind of the reason they're around, you might have missed this, is with Nagash's like crazy necroquake magic ritual gone wrong. Death and undeath are sort of coming everywhere, so the endless spells are spells that don't expire. They don't have a normal lifespan. Where they just like fizzle out like a normal spell does.
Yeah, so from what we've read from Malign Portents and all the other stuff going on in the whole lore situation there, Nagash was doing that big great pyramid, and it sounds like Skaven messed with them. Yeah, and they tunneled in there and caused some problems, maybe corrupted the ritual, as far as we can tell. And it's we don't know the details yet, but that's what we've been reading about and just the craziness.
They've been talking about it on their
they're talking about it on the GW stream too. So. It's just interesting. There's been a lot of lore shifts. Did you notice the big picture of Slaanesh?
I did.
That they showed off?
Yeah, chained in the cosmos.
Yeah, there's a picture floating around on the Warhammer community site of these pillars, and there's chains from the pillars going to this purple ball of light, which is Slaanesh. But if you look kind of at the macro level, there's an outline of Slaanesh. Of claw,
chained
claw.
up. You can see the claw on one side. It's so cool.
So go check that out too. But it's Slaanesh, I think, is coming back.
I think so as well.
I think we've hinted at in the Daughters of Cain book.
And that's one of the things that they kind of sort of revealed in the Malign Portents.
Yeah.
Was that a bunch of Seekers of Slaanesh know where he's imprisoned, and they and the Dark Oath War Queen and her hosts are heading there.
Yeah.
They're heading into the shadowy realm between
the hidden gloom
and Heish.
Yeah. So they're heading there to free their dark god and cause some problems. I mean, Slaanesh at this point too has pretty much been pumped off the stomach pumped full of souls, So he doesn't
have
super weak from that process and probably very angry. So Slaanesh could be reborn in the new edition.
I'm excited to see more of the elves, which is an interesting place to be because before you had wood elves, high elves, and dark elves.
Yeah,
that was it. But now, because of all the elven souls that have been trapped in Slaanesh, and they're crazy mutated and stuff, that's why you get the Idoneth Deepkin, the Daughters of Cain that are all Harpy or Medusa like.
Yeah, those changes are crazy. I want to see the Elves of Light.
Yeah,
whatever they look like.
I want to see them as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to be crazy. And then of course the Elves of Shadow, whatever those end up being. And again, this could just be groundwork that GW's laying for the next year or two. We don't know if there's short-term plans for this stuff to come out immediately following the release, or if they're gonna
longer-term.
Yeah, maybe do the Summer of Sigmar like they were planning, and then do some 40K stuff, and then do more Age of Sigmar releases. We don't know the long-term plans, but you can definitely see the groundwork being laid there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there, JR, you and I have been keeping up with this, was there anything that you were looking forward to in terms of new rules for the new edition?
Oh yeah,
or crazy stuff?
They hinted at aerial battles, and being a fan of the Caradron Overlords, I like them as a faction. They're like a neat sky dwarf race. I want to see more about that. I want to know what that's all about. I remember in the Fire. No, it was one of the Malign Portent scenarios. There's a battle plan that takes place on the regular world, and then when your heroes die, they go to the underworld, and you have to fight on two different maps. I wonder if aerial battles might be the same kind of deal. I don't know, but
that idea though is really cool to me. Just there's a battle going on above the battlefield, and maybe if you die, you crash onto the battlefield or something like that. That'd be really cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
I mean, and you've got a ton of flying units like these guys.
Yeah, just about every faction has something with wings.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot to happen up there. As far as other stuff, what are you excited about?
I'm excited to get my hands on the General's Handbook, first off. Just because from what we can tell, that's the book that's going to have all of the match play points, all the battle plans, and the new summoning stuff is going to be in there too. So I'm a little confused and curious as to how the match play rules changes in the core book. Why aren't the General's Handbook stuff in there too? But I don't know. But I do know that match play points are going to be in the General's Handbook, and I just want to see what my armies are going to look like. Post release.
Post release, I do as well. I want to see. I am really loving the new stuff that they're rolling out as well. So let's talk about Soul Wars here.
Oh yeah,
because that's the big one that we've just skipped right past. Well, because we're excited about all the weird little things, but Soul Wars is this amazing box set. So
can we just set the stage real fast?
Yeah.
Because Nagash is pissed.
Yeah.
There's all of these factions in the game that have been circumventing his right. To soul, that's what he feels. To these souls.
Yeah, if they didn't start nothing, there wouldn't be nothing.
Right. So you've got Chaos, who is eating all those elf souls that he never got dibs on.
Right.
You've got Sigmar, who created the Stormcast Eternals.
Right.
Who are dying and then immediately being reforged.
You've got the Skaven. Everyone just kind of...
Well, they just...
I mean, they're a part of Chaos, but they muck with everything.
Yeah, and then you've got, factions like the Eye of the Deepkin.
They also steal souls.
Yep, you've got factions of Life who don't want to die to begin with for some strange reason. And even Nurgle is that weird anti-death because Nurgle's gifts, he wants his followers...
everything to be alive, including diseases.
Yeah, so... There's this concept of all of the living things versus death, and all of the ways that living things avoid going to the underrealm, the Astrodome. So he's mad. That's why he made the whole thing. It basically, like, from what I can tell, when he finds out Sigmar has made the Stormcast Eternals, that's kind of the tipping point for Nagash. He's like, okay, it's on now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start laying some groundwork to mess with everyone, and then after that. So that's where right now he does a big ritual. The endless magic goes crazy, and now we fast forward. That's why it's called Soul Wars. This is about the war for souls, and they're introducing 2 new factions to the game.
They are the new Sacrosanct Chamber for the Stormcast Eternals.
Which those guys look rad. They're like if you want to look at the Stormcast as like paladins from classic role playing games or whatever. The new chamber looks more like clerics.
They're more like clerics. Yeah, they're more magic heavy, and they do they do a lot more with crazy Mortal Realms magic stuff.
Yeah, they seem really neat, but I am personally super excited about the Night Haunts.
Yeah.
Ton of new miniatures there. They have that ghosty feel. I've said that I've wanted an undead army that was more ghost-like or more construct-like.
Right.
So skeletons and zombies and stuff like that. That's cool.
That's cool, but
that's not my thing.
Let's play with the idea of undead a lot. And,
yeah.
And this one is all spectral, all the time.
Spectral force. Like when Lord of the Rings came out, and they did that ghost army.
Yeah.
That was super rad. I was like, I want to play that. That's the undead army I want. And now my dream's coming true.
Yeah.
So.
Real quick. So you get 52 models in the Soul Wars box set. Which includes 33 different Night Haunts and 19 different Stormcast Eternals. And these are all the new ones, so you won't get anything that's already out there. But it also comes bundled with the core book as well, right?
Yeah. The core book is that the monstrous 300-page hardback book. It's all in the box set. Again, box set's $160. You're basically getting 2 full armies
and the core book.
Core book. And if the pricing remains similar to what you would get, which is what they've, if you look at, they're basically drawing the distinction that all of the Age of Sigmar new stuff is equal in price to the 40K counterpart. So we know that the 40K hardback was $60.
Yeah.
So if you do some quick math, you get 2 armies in a book for $160. So if you split that with a buddy or something like that, each of you pay, $50 for the army you want, and then split the book, however you want to do that.
Yeah, so like $80 with a buddy, and you both can start playing now.
Or one buddy buys, pays you $50 and you keep the rest because it's, it seems like a really cool deal to be able to split that up.
It's an amazing way to jump in as well.
On top of that too, I'm guessing here, but it would make sense that eventually all this stuff is going to come out as individual boxes.
Right. It did for Dark Imperium, which is what this is a lot like.
Yep. And I wouldn't be surprised to see more a start collecting box for each new faction.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about the way they've broken up the armies. Again, those are all completely new models. So you're not going to get any repeats. You could actually take like the Stormcast chamber, you take those models, get a start collecting box, boom, you've got a pretty good sized army. Same with the Night Haunts. If you want to start a Night Haunts army, there's actually a start collecting box, the Malignants out there right now, which is like the ghostly forces of undead. So if you're waiting to get your box but you want to get a jump on army creation, maybe buy that box, and then you've got those 2 boxes ready to rock and roll day one.
Buy Soul Wars and don't tell your friend that it's different, and then just be like, "Yeah, this is what it says I get."
Yeah, freak them out. That'll be great. You also get all those War Scroll cards also included, which is nice.
Right.
And I've seen pictures. They're the smaller. They're not as big as the current version. They're a little bit smaller. I think a little bit easier to keep it. They're larger than an index card.
Right. They look a little bit like some of the like the Necromunda. Not the
like the gang
little
cards.
ones, but the gang cards.
Yeah. A little bit larger, but not as big as the current ones. So those are going to be super handy. I think.
I think so,
you get one for each of the new units. And as far as we can tell, that's the only place to get them right now. And then eventually, too, like we mentioned in the big core book, we think that one's coming out at a later date. But as far as we can tell, all 3 of the big products, Malign Sorcery, General's Handbook, and of course the core box, all coming out for pre-order June 19th or 16th,
which is this weekend.
Yeah,
so
pretty crazy.
Get excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited too. There's so much stuff. There's so many cool things happening for Age of Sigmar.
I want to see. Okay, so what do you? While we've got these last couple minutes, what new army do you want to see?
No, I'm starting Night Hunts.
Right,
you mean
but
down the road?
like down the road, something that isn't out yet, but that could be. I'll tell you mine.
Yeah,
I want to see. I want to see a new, updated version for the Seraphon. So some new faction of them, right?
Yeah.
Because they won't redo the Lizardmen that are already out, but I want to see a new, I don't know, host or temple or whatever.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh man, I really want to see Tyranids come. No, I was kidding. I really want to see those new races of elves. I think of all of the lore from the current. Again, we only have access to what's out right now, so whatever the current stuff is, the seeds that GW has planted with the elves of light and elves of shadow. Man, I want to see what they did after Daughters of Cain came out and the Idoneth Deep came out, and those kind of redesigns and how they took those to logical, familiar, but wild looking places. I just think that, especially with the new technology they have,
right? Well,
it's gonna be crazy.
And that's the thing that they can really play with in Age of Sigmar too, because everything is so unexplored frontier. Mm-hmm. They can add new armies.
Yeah. Right.
There's room for it.
Definitely. There's what 9 realms to play around with too. There's lots more secrets and stuff to uncover. So I mean, the mortal realms right now, I can see why they're doing this, because it's fertile ground for the designers and developers to come up with new stuff. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see what they do with it. I want to see where they take it. That's for sure. So.
Well, that's the Age of Sigmar, and now we are numberless for We Are Legion, which means that it's time for Abe and Larry to come back and talk to you guys about Star Wars Foreign Legion.
Welcome to the Star Wars French Foreign Legion.
Yes.
Where is he? Where is he?
Got the
there he is.
Star of the Foreign Legion, of course.
The mighty ATST.
I mean, so minor spoilers for Solo, right?
Oh no.
It's a week or 2 out now. We can talk a little bit about it.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
What are you doing? All right, very minor spoilers, but the Imperial Army semi seems like the Foreign Legion in that, right?
Okay. Cool.
It's just are you some random criminal? Want to go off and die for the Empire? Sign up, no questions asked.
Okay, that's cool.
Right?
So you get to see the Imperial Army that's not just stormtroopers?
We do get to see the Imperial Army. So that has me. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk about Legion here. We've got some new announcements that have come out over the week.
We did. I have to say, overall, I am happy with FFG. They are definitely, they're getting the SKUs announced.
They are getting announced. Yeah, we had a little bit of a dead period right after it came out when X-Wing 2.0 was being announced, which makes sense from a standpoint. They were focusing on that, but they are moving back into announcing much stuff. So, in addition to,
so now we've had two new generals for each.
2 new generals. Well, we've had a new general come out for each, and we've got another one announced. We've got we have Han announced for the Rebels, and we have Boba Fett, who's not a general, he's an operative.
Sure.
But he works in sort of the same way, announced. Okay. We've got
General Veers
and Leia, and they've also, those are out already, but upcoming now we've got Han, Boba Fett, the Rebel Commandos, the Imperial Scout Trooper infiltration team, and they just announced this week the EWEB Repeating Blaster, or Heavy Blaster, and the 1.4 FD Laser Cannon team, which is just the best name ever.
That's right.
Makes me feel like I'm flipping through a catalog of plumbing
at Radio Shack.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the official name of it, so they ran with it. So those are the 2 new things that got announced, and they're both really cool to me. They are a new type of unit. They're emplacement troopers.
Yes.
So they've released most of the information about the units themselves.
Yes.
Their cards and their upgrades. We don't 100% know what an emplacement trooper means.
Right.
That seems like one thing that they're going to be adding into, because they seem to work as a mix between a trooper and a vehicle unit.
Sure.
Troopers, for instance, have a 360 side arc and can move, and you don't have to pivot, things like that. Vehicles have to pivot, so their rules clearly make it that they have sight arcs and have to pivot and things like that because they have rules about pivoting, but vehicles can't do standby, and these units have special rules for standby also.
Yep. Very long range standby.
Very long range standby. So they're kind of counterpart units to each other, both from Hoth in particular. So the 1.4 FD laser cannon is the kind of satellite dish with a gun sticking out of it you see in Hoth. It's a crew served weapon, and the E-Web is the big kind of tripod mounted machine gun based laser machine gun basically.
Sure. If you've watched The Empire Strikes Back, you've seen them both.
You've seen them both. And the E-Web is heavily based on one of the German.
Which is fantastic because in The Empire Strikes Back, both of those weapons fired once and did nothing, and then were killed.
Oh sure, yeah, definitely.
It's great. The 1.4 famously
shoots the leg, right?
Shoots the knee of an AT-AT, does nothing, and then it shoots back and blows them up.
Yep.
And then the E-Web fires on the Millennium Falcon, and they don't get it set up in time. They don't get it set up in time, and then the Millennium Falcon kills all those guys. So that you know.
Hopefully they'll do better on the tabletop.
Yes. But luckily, the tabletop so far does not have the Millennium Falcon or an AT-AT.
So far,
yes.
Definitely. So they're both kind of counterparts in that they're kind of heavy and placed weapons with long range. The E-Web can move. The 1.4 FD laser cannot move other than to pivot.
Yep.
The 1.4 it's a heavy anti-tank gun. It's got a 4 range and does 5 black dice damage with impact. It's meant to shoot this guy basically.
Right. So overall, 2 months out from the launch of Legion, we have the 2 armies. Both the armies have 2 different units of core troops now, so there's a little bit of variety there. 2 to 3 commanders, which is good, and now they each have kind of they each have a heavy unit, a light vehicle unit, and now they have effectively like an elite unit, and a
support.
And a support unit. Yeah. So we're now it's actually starting to feel good.
Yeah,
like I think we need. What do you think we're going to be seeing next?
So. I know
what I think we're going to be seeing next.
I think it's almost a guarantee that we're going to get Hoth troopers at some point.
For Rebels.
Rebel
right? Hoth, yes, absolutely.
Because we have Hoth Leia, right?
Yes. Yep.
We have the Snowspeeder. We have the 1.4 laser cannon, which has Hoth troopers on it.
Yes.
So we have all of that.
But not the Hoth
troopers. But not like the basic infantry.
Yeah.
So we have to, and because the Imperials also have the E-Web and they have snow troopers and Gears and all that,
that would give them another core unit.
Another core unit. It could be a more elite unit.
Right, that's true.
If they wanted to set it apart, they could do it as their elite winter soldiers or something with metal arms and mind problems and things like that. It's all owned by Marvel or Disney now.
That's terrible.
They could do whatever they want.
And then for the Imperials...
I think the most likely one at some point soon is going to be Death Troopers.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
While it's fresh. But, like I said, if you see Solo, we do actually get to see the Imperial Army.
I think there's a non-0% chance that we would actually see shore troopers.
Shore troopers would
Because shore troopers would be like the alternative.
Sure.
So you would have their speedy, kind of recon-y, fast core unit.
Right.
So they're still stormtroopers.
Shore troopers would be a core unit. Death troopers would be an elite unit.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're going to see that, and then I think we are also going to be. I think it's ripe now for both of the vehicle. Both of the armies don't have light tanks.
There's no light tank.
We have walkers, but we don't have tanks. And both of these guys go. I mean, the Star Wars universe is full of a gazillion like small light, not mega tanks, just small little ones.
Even just like you see on Naboo, right? In the first one, just like a little speeder with a cannon on the back.
Exactly. So I think that would be the next logical thing is if you get to the point to where both the armies have 3 core units, and then they have kind of one of everything. They have a fast unit, they have an elite unit, they have a light tank, they have their big heavy scary unit, and then and their emplacements. Now you're having really good fleshed out armies.
Very good there, yeah. And we'll see if we're gonna get any kind of transports. Also, that's another big question.
Yes, I think that might get rolled. That could possibly be rolled into the light tanks.
It could be rolled into light tanks. I mean, Rebels does have the little, I don't remember the name of it, but it's the kind of blocky Imperial speeder that has 2 little cannons on the front of it, and it's a transport also, which would be a great option.
For Imperials, There's
that's the Imperials unit in Rebels.
Oh, sure.
In Star Wars Rebels,
Okay.
the Imperials.
I assume that the Rebels just steal anything. So
They
anything
steal
Imperial,
anything,
you're just gonna be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some old transport from the Clone Wars that they just use.
I mean, a lat would be pretty cool. Big lat. So cool.
There's also there's the tank that was in Rogue One.
There's the tank that's in Rogue
One. That was like, hey, the Empire has tanks.
Yeah.
And it's in a recent movie, and it actually got a decent amount of screen time. It had a whole scene based around it.
Be a good option.
I want dewbacks.
I'm hoping for the TIE tank.
I want dewbacks.
I want a TIE tank.
No.
Best
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
But yeah, so 2 new interesting units, I think, and we're seeing different opportunity. I like what they're doing with these units, and that they're opening up each of the waves at this point. Now that's about to come out are really opening up new opportunities in the game, right? Sure. They built up a strong base, got your core units, got your things out. With their kind of light infiltrating scouting units coming out, they're opening up new opportunities there in what you can do and how you can play that game. And now they're opening up kind of static defenses, building a defensive line. Okay. I'm interested to see how a unit that can't move is going to work on the game.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, it's
fixed emplacements are always weird.
It is, yeah, it is really interesting because the Rebel, the 1.44L turret is a mobile, and but its firepower is pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy.
It's pretty scary. Yeah. Whereas the E-Web is draggable. It can move 1, and if it moves, it can't fire that turn. So it's effectively. Effectively immobile. You're going to be, dragging around corner. It's not going to be moving much during the game. It gives you a little bit of leeway, but it's potent, but slightly less potent than the Rebel one. So it's going to be a really good balance of like, what do you want? You want, the Rebels get the higher firepower, and you got to really watch out for those guns. But if they deploy wrong.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from them. Whereas the Empire gets a little less firepower, but they got a little bit more wiggle room. They can adapt if weird stuff happens.
And both of these weapons are specifically built really around taking advantage of the standby mechanic, which is the Legion's version of Overwatch. So
sure.
You take a token, and then when an enemy unit activates, normally within range of 1 to 2.
Sure.
You get to interrupt and shoot, basically, or
yes.
move. In this case, you get to do that to range 1 to 3.
Right.
Which means that most units are going to have to walk into your range.
And
then
shot.
As they walk into your range, you can interrupt before they shoot and take a shot at them, which is pretty cool.
Which is pretty solid.
That's a cool mechanic. It also gets around the E-Web's rule that it can't move and fire. If it can move and stand by and then fire on the enemy's turn. So they clarified in one of their in an FAQ. That if you stand by, you can fire even if you moved and have cumbersome.
Okay.
Which makes it a little more mobile. It still is movement 1 and can only move once a turn. It can't double move. So I think like maximum without any kind of cheats.
What is that? It's like the 4-inch move.
It's like a 3-inch move, so it can go like 18 inches an entire game. It's not very much at all, but it can move and then to a new position and then stand by there, shoot, move again, stand by there. You can also move as a standby, so if it wanted to, instead of ever shooting, it could move and stand by and move and stand by and move and stand by.
It's the ultimate.
Yeah,
it's like the World War.
I'm just the racing tank here.
It's the World War I gun. It's just like, are you gonna come and get me? Are you gonna come and get me?
It's a very So that's it's interesting to see that kind of new mechanic. I'm playing with standby a little more. Standby is a thing that I've never used in a game yet, actually. Wow. It was I think it's a very underused mechanic. The fleet troopers take advantage of it. They get a bonus on standby because if you've watched A New Hope, fleet troopers are very well known for sitting there and aiming and waiting for people to walk out of a door and then shooting them.
They did all die.
They did all die, but
they killed a bunch of stormtroopers. They killed a bunch of stormtroopers did die too.
So their mechanic takes advantage of that, and now we have these heavy emplacements, which it makes sense. A heavy emplacement that can't move.
Sure. Its
job should be overwatching, basically, and shooting people that come near it. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that changes the game. And now we're getting more anti-vehicle weapons in the game,
which is good.
Between the 1.4 turret, the E-Web's not really an anti-vehicle weapon, but the snowtroopers did get an ion rifle, which makes that anti-vehicle stuff. So given that, you would expect more vehicles to be coming soon.
Exactly. I was like, what am I going to kill?
Right.
Why do all these units keep coming with ways to kill vehicles, but there's no vehicles?
There's not a lot of vehicles. I mean, currently there's... I mean, even the Imperials, which are the armored faction, right? You think about it, this is the only thing on the Imperial side that has armor.
Yes.
They have... The scout bikes are vehicles.
Yeah, the scout bikes don't have armor.
They don't have armor. So there's one armored unit in the Imperial list right now.
I am telling you, it is going to be... Well, I don't know. There's so many things.
There's a lot of good things. The two sets do come with some cool upgrades too.
Sure.
So they each come with there's 2 generator type upgrades that upgrade the die. You expend them or you tap them basically.
Right, and they modify your dice.
They're okay. I'm very sad that the EWEB doesn't come with a shield generator because
it's supposed to have a shield generator,
supposed
right?
to be one option in the lore for the EWEB is that some versions come with portable shield generators because they have this giant power pack to power the gun. It can also power a shield generator.
And that would have been really cool.
That would have been really interesting. I'm guessing that it will come at some point. It's possible they just didn't know how to write that into the mechanics right now.
Sure.
Or in a way that would make it any good, because if you just say, give it cover, it's not that, it's probably already going to be in cover. Like, is that really that useful?
Right.
The biggest upgrade that comes with it is the HQ uplink upgrade. This is really a game changer in a lot of ways.
Sure.
So it's a 10-point upgrade that goes in your comm slot. And that's what's really important, because both of these new units have comm slots, but also... all the previous vehicles have comm slots.
Right.
So this guy has a comm slot. Speeder bikes have a comm slot. The airspeeder has a comm slot. And the ATRT has a comm slot.
Okay.
So this is a lot
this
of
card
units.
can go on a whole bunch of different things. Okay.
And basically you exhaust it, tap it, whatever you want to call it. I think it's technically exhaust during your order phase, and you give that unit an order.
So you just get a free bonus order.
So normally, right, and that's a face-up order placed next to it, right?
Nice.
So normally you play your command card, and it tells you how many units you can give orders to, and you place those. So this lets you give extra orders out.
Nice.
And they don't have to be within the normal range.
Right.
So that's going to be anywhere on the table.
So now you're going to start seeing armies starting to spread out. You're going to be able to have guys swing around a far flank.
And it helps you pick the orders you need to activate. So like one of the things you were seeing people having to do is they were running... I, for instance, was running like ATRTs with a flamethrower on it.
Sure.
Right? And that unit was going to charge up, and it wanted, and then it needed to go first on one of the turns, so it could run up and use its flamethrower before it could die.
Right.
And oftentimes it would be out of order range.
Right.
And so you would have to give it you could give it the extended range comm link, right?
Sure.
Which let you give it orders, but you still had to be able to order that unit. And some of the order cards don't allow you to order, say, pick 2 troopers or something like that. Yep. You can't pick any unit you want. Now I don't have to worry about that. On the one turn I need it to, I just tap the HQ uplink card, and exhaust it, and I get an order, and that gives you so much more control over when you're going to activate your units in your army and how you're going to do it. That's, I think, fundamentally going to be things are going to change how people build lists in some ways, and it's going to be a really key upgrade for Legion, and it's really going to be important to the game. So I'm happy to see something like that. That's a cool thing that they're adding into the game. It's a nice balance of an upgrade, because you get into the problem with that you don't want to put essential upgrades in kits that everyone has to buy them, right? So they've done a really good job of Legion with mirroring Imperials and Rebels. They're not saying you have to buy every kit in the game. You probably are going to have to buy everything for your faction that you want to play, which is fair. You probably want to buy everything for your faction anyway. But you don't have to buy models that you can't use in your faction to get stuff.
Right.
Which is really great. They've learned a lot, and that's really cool. So to see them adding some stuff into the game like that, I think is going to open it up. Which is why I think that you might get a shield generator upgrade with a later kit.
I think so.
And then again, we got Boba Fett coming out. He's going to be cool. We got Han Solo coming out. He's going to be cool. And Legion is really opening up. So to me, the next question is going to be, what's the third faction, right?
Based on the movies that just may or may not have come out.
You thinking of scum and villainy faction?
That is what I'm thinking.
There's a lot of room for scum and villainy faction. Certainly, Solo adds a lot to the ability to build that faction. I mean, there's already plenty in Star Wars for that. as you may have seen in this other game called Star Wars X-Wing.
Yeah.
That
I would assume we would go a year.
A year.
A year.
Yeah.
Really let the Imperials and the Rebels really get fleshed out. I mean, they're releasing SKUs very quickly, which is exactly what they needed to do.
Well,
if they want to get into this market, they're gonna. I mean, let's be honest. Legion is the newcomer. It's going up against. It has a fantastic license. It's Star Wars. It has a fantastic company behind it. FFG. They have lots of resources. They're going to devote those resources to it. You know, the advantage of having a major brand with a major company with deep pockets behind a game is that they can afford to just take their lumps and force that game into the market, as opposed to a smaller company that doesn't have the resources. And that smaller company, everything's really risky because they need that game to be a hit, you know, in that first 6 months. And if it's not, then then they're done. Which is the story of this industry. But when you have something like Legion, you know FFG is just going to be there, and you know they probably have 50 or 100 SKUs already planned out. And they're just going to keep knocking those things out, as they did with X-Wing, and they're just going to get it out there, and so it's. I mean,
I've heard rumors of 3 to 5 years planned out in advance.
Sure,
right?
exactly.
Which isn't crazy if you know how the industry works. That's not crazy.
Exactly, not at all. So the fact that we're 2 months out and are already seeing 3 to 4 SKUs being announced in a single month, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal
for a game this new. So I totally expect. I'm going to be really curious to see what does Legion look like a year from now. And I think we're going to have 2 really full-fledged out factions, and it's going to be, it's going to be a thing.
And we've got a competitive scene picking up right now. People are playing Legion. It's a really new game.
Yes,
I have to constantly remind myself, especially because we've been covering Legion since it was announced almost a year ago.
But the game is 2 months old.
The game is 2 months old. It's just came out.
Right, it's brand new.
It's very new, and I think one thing that's going to be really interesting is, 2.5 months, 3 months from now, we have Gen Con. So,
and I bet there's going to be something.
What's the big announcement at Gen Con?
It's a Legion-scaled Millennium Falcon. No, it's not.
I mean,
no, it's not. It's not. It's not. It is not.
Would it be Lando's Millennium Falcon, or would it be no? But I mean,
that's just based on how you weather it.
Oh, sure. Well, no, because Lando's got the big.
It has like pop out. I'm not going to talk.
No. So
you could do it. It could be done.
I think that's the thing to watch. They're going to keep announcing new stuff until then, but it's going to be really interesting to see, because if they were going to announce a third faction, that would probably be the time to do it.
Sure.
A year after they announced the game, we announced a third faction.
FFG traditionally, there's going to be one big, huge, mega announcement. So X-Wing 2 has already been announced, and the big thing you're going to get at Gen Con is that it's going to go up for pre-release at Gen Con. So there's going to be lines around that booth, there's going to be a mile-long line to get into the FFG.
But with the game just coming out, there's probably not going to be a big announcement for it.
Exactly. So I anticipate that whatever the big announcement is, because they always do something that is they always reveal lots of new stuff that no one has ever seen before, and at Gen Con, and it would completely make sense for there to be some big Legion announcement.
Definitely. I mean, it's a year after it was announced.
That would be the time to do it.
Definitely.
Yeah, because whatever they announce is still not. Traditionally, they announce a big major thing, and that major thing
it's still a few months out.
At Gen Con in August, and then that major announcement actually comes to market in Q1 of the next year.
Right.
So if they do some big giant major, a third faction or a new game or something new and exciting for Star Wars, we're not going to see it on shelves until February, March of 2019. So they got plenty of time.
They got plenty of time,
which is pretty close to about a year's anniversary from Legion.
From Legion's release. So it's announced at Gen Con. I imagine there'll be a big announcement, and then we'll get the actual model. I mean,
we're going to be there. We're going to be at Gen Con, covering it from the floor. So whatever they announce. Whatever is announced, well, it's not going to be me. It's going to be it. It's those 2 guys.
The two that were in here.
They're going.
Yep.
They're going.
We're told for that star.
Leaving on a jet plane.
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Sunny. Is Indianapolis sunny?
It is. It's very bright.
Sunny,
very bright.
Indianapolis.
Sky is very blue.
But yeah, so sunny and bright future for Legion, I think.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I'm excited. All these new units, we're getting them in here. We're painting them up. And we will absolutely be doing regular Legion games for you guys. So just, hang out. Everything is going to be good. Another final announcement. We have a game. We're going to have a competitive 40K game on Thursday. Tune in approximately 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have Chris Carlisle and our good buddy Joe Beto. Those are the 2 guys who are behind Wargames Con. And Wargames Con 10 10th year anniversary. It is going to be in Austin, Texas. If you all love 40K, Wargaming, whatever, you should get some tickets and register and come on down to Wargames Con. It is in August. It is a fantastic time. This is its 10th year.
What hotel is it at?
At the Doubletree, the official.
Bringing it back around.
That's right.
It back around, guys.
So those two guys, the TOs behind Wargames Con, they're going to be here, and they're going to be playing a hardcore competitive game for you guys in the studio right here. So come on down and on Thursday and hang out with us.
It'll be great. I think our hour's up, Larry. We only have
exactly
1 hour.
We went 1 hour.
We started like a minute late, so we're good. We got to sign off now. I'm Abe.
I'm Larry.
This is BoLS Tabletop Hour. Thanks for watching,
and we will catch you guys next week.
Ooh.
Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.